Hello everybody, welcome to SketchCraft Live. I'm Rob Duenas, graphic artist Esquire, and if you're joining in for the very first time, shame on you. Otherwise, welcome to the show. Also know that we typically rant about art, movie, and comic book related stuff, generally speaking, chosen by us or you, the audience. Joining in tonight is Brandon. Can't plug in his headset, James. Brandon, say hi.
Hooray, I'm here.
Hey, he made it. Also returning from the depths of, where do you draw? Texas.
On the it's on if it's my tablet. I'm drawing on the floor because it's like 65 pounds, and then normally I'm just drawing at my computer desk.
Ashley West from gangfeather.com. Say hello, Ashley.
Hello.
Just so you know, we've been gone for a little while. Last week we did a little follow-up to Las Vegas Con, where I met some of Ashley's good friends, and they told me she felt left out. That was amazing. Everyone was there but Ashley. Today, though, I want to talk about a specific topic on episode 38 of SketchCraft Live, and that's fan art. I've had this belief for the longest time. I've said this many times on the podcast, that at some point, companies will figure out a way to monetize fan art. Just for a multitude of reasons. Now, I understand I'm probably opening up Pandora's box, and that means, you know, for the 3 people who listen to this podcast, I'll piss off 1.5 of them. But at the end of the day, I don't believe fan art to be a copyright infringement or anything like that. It's called fan art. When I was a kid growing up, going to Comic-Con, everything was about creating your own thing, mother of invention. No one really did fan art. You only drew Batman if you were going to apply to DC. Unfortunately, as the big 2 companies took over the entire comic book industry, wiping out independence, save for Image, and then the sort of Image implosion in the late 90s, the only thing that started selling was fan art. I watched it happen over the course of about 10, 15 years at San Diego Comic-Con. Now to the point where people draw fan art. When you go to a Comic-Con, Brandon, I think you've seen this, families walk around looking for something they kind of already know.
Right. Something that's familiar that they've seen in movies or shows.
It's a sad fact. I'm personally happy that when I go to con, I do manage to sell original ideas a third of the time. This past con, we had some Bombcast stuff. I always sell the Cupid thing. So that works for me. However, a lot of people walk by and they go, oh my God, Saitama. Or, oh my God, you know, fucking Batman. And then there's been this raging debate for the longest time that conventions need to get rid of that, yada, yada, yada. There's a whole big debacle going on between CBS and Star Trek fans. However, I have said for the longest time, companies will eventually figure out a way to do this, the ones that care enough to set up the infrastructure. Right now it's a matter of infrastructure, and why should they give a shit? Well, the first one announced something this week. This comes from cartoonbrew.com. I'm going to go ahead and just open up this link, copy. Here we go. Let's just bring up desktop. Cartoon Network has figured out how to make money from fan art. The Cartoon Network Collective. So basically, this is an article coming from Cartoon Brew. And it's newly announced Cartoon Network Collective is an outlet for selling exclusive limited edition products related to Cartoon Network series. These collectives can be accessed exclusively from the Cartoon Network shop. It's a collaboration between Cartoon Network Enterprises and the current CN Shop licensee Boulder Road. So my guess is Cartoon Network, and I've worked with them before in licensed goods, they have a licensing department that they then work with licensors. Those are, in this case, Boulder Road, which is probably one of these, the company that runs their store. Because Cartoon Network doesn't have the ability to run their own store. They're busy making cartoons and cutting checks.
Right.
So they're going to start with 10 different artists, many of whom are professional, you know, whatever. They'll put on posters, notebooks. Here's some of the kind of art, you know, this Muka kind of thing going on here, that will be in there. And it's hard to say how they're going to monetize this. There's, you know, questions about, so like one of the Rebecca Sugar apparently has some more erotic drawings in her own portfolio, whether that'll make it. What is the percentage going to artists? Yada, yada, yada. What is the percentage of sales? No one knows. It's an interesting article that I think is just the first step towards, this becoming what I've always said should just be a fan license. How do I say this? So I think if you're going to sell fan art, there should be some way to get a fan license that you basically submit the art and get an okay that it's okay. And once it's okay, you can put it up on their store or go to con and you have a fan license. It's probably never going to happen that way because it'd be a nightmare to ultimately do. But I think in select cases it's going to start. Especially like Marvel always, in my opinion, should have had a fan. How do I say this? A fan component. Back in the day, 20 years ago, there was a magazine called Wizard Magazine, where it was all about comic books. And before the internet really took off, this is where you kind of got your comic book info. And there was a huge fan art section where you sort of design these faux Wizard magazine covers, and you'd always draw them using licensed characters. And I always felt that when that went away, Marvel should have had like their own version of Juxtapose. Have you ever seen that magazine, Ashley or Brennan? Juxtapose.
Actually,
Yeah, I
yes, I
have.
have.
I
Yeah.
have.
It's an artist-driven magazine, usually about graffiti, not street art, but gallery art, different types of sort of fine art takes or street art. It's kind of a
One
cool vibe.
one time I was looking in there and there was like a Bambi and it was like he was crying over his mom and his mom was like bleeding out. Yeah.
Right, so Disney would
Sorry.
never approve of that. However,
Right.
there should be. I mean, I'm going to be honest. There really should be. There could be a way. Marvel, DC, and these characters could have found a licensor, like a wizard, that got an official, okay from Marvel, DC, whatever, to then do that and then sell prints of those on a limited basis on their stuff and get some exposure for fan arts. Like something like this has already kind of started on Amazon.com a while back. I don't have the links to this. I just remember this. I gotta dig it up. But there was a way to do licensed fan fiction, so you could sell fan fiction for GI Joe. Was the basic idea. The actual fan fiction, you could sell it, and they would get a cut, and you would get a cut. Because basically, Marvel and DC and all these different companies, their point of contention is that they're not getting paid for any of this art, so it's unlicensed. However, if there are no fans of Squirrel Girl drawing pictures of Squirrel Girl, why would they? How would that book even have been proposed? You understand what I'm saying? Like when you have obscure characters like Squirrel Girl, who Marvel would never have supported beyond like a niche thing. When the
Right.
fans on the internet take over and in conventions take over and make it a whole thing, then Marvel gets to see revenue because there's such fan interest that they're able to produce a book that sells. So they profited from that. Right? Right.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, like, I always feel like this will start like this and then it will go horribly wrong because it's like corporate America loves to get involved with art.
And usually people who have like no say so or even no love for art, it's usually just, for lack of a better term, pencil pushers, people who just handle documents and don't know anything about
Licensors.
art or fans or what's even popular. They just kind of just go off what they think is right. And
But someone will do it right, like Mondo has done with the posters, right? Like they sort of revolutionized and kind of brought back movie poster art. I think there's some version of that can definitely occur for fan art, and for it to be done in a way that independent artists can get exposure, as well as these companies can see something from it beyond just general interest. Now, the only problem that we're dealing with here is quality, and you can't really govern quality. Like, what is one person's shitty pencil sketch is another person's brilliant piece of, oh my God, that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. So, I don't know if this is what Cartoon Network's doing is by any means the answer. I seriously doubt it is. Nor do I think in any way, shape, or form unlicensed prints are going to go away, although I wish they would. And this is me saying this, folks. I wish they would. The fact of the matter is, there is some place in between for everyone to get, like, case in point. Brandon, tell everyone about Top Cow and their stance on fan art.
they are not a fan of it. They say if you have fan art, they will not hire you
Of any
They
of their
are.
characters, right?
of any of their characters. So if you come up to them and try to show them any fan art whatsoever of Darkness or any of the Witchblade type thing, they will not hire you. They will just straight out tell you no.
Now, let me
off,
tell you how
basically.
crazy this is, right? Because when I was a kid, the advice I got from someone named Todd McFarlane, perhaps you've heard of him, right? And he was on the same panel with Mark Silvestri. Perhaps you've heard of him. He's the creator of Top Cow. said a way to break in the industry, and what Todd used to do was take the last 4 pages of the comic book that you would like to work on, say Spider-Man, and redraw them in a way that take it from a script standpoint, look at the pages, write down the dialogue, figure out how you would reinterpret the last 4 pages and use those to show an editor to get work.
Hmm.
Is that not technically fan art?
Oh yeah, it is.
So what are you supposed to show Top Cow if you want to get work at Top Cow?
Just
Spider-Man? I don't know. Rob, me running down the street with thorns
knockoff
coming out.
versions.
Brandon in like a bikini with a sword. I don't.
That'd be worth seeing. That would get them a job instantly.
If you
That's a
wanted
job
to,
getting
if you
hard.
wanted to draw the Witchblade, would you not show them Witchblade pages?
All right, I guess you'd have to draw some knockoff version of their characters. I mean, I never understood that. Like, and they're pretty adamant when they posted about that. You know, like, hey, don't
And
come up to us with some knockoff shit.
and their reasoning was that well, they're at Comic Con they're taking away sales from our prints because they're selling prints. Well, let me explain something. Back in the day, Top Cow never sold prints of Witchblade. Their shit sold so much they gave away giant posters. Now, not saying you can't sell prints. That being said, Top Cow sells a print, they can sell it for $60, right? Because it's a limited Top Cow print signed by an artist. Joe fucking Stupid out in Rob Stupid out in fucking Artist Alley has to sell that for like 3 for 20 or some bullshit like that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I always felt like, why don't you just gang the fan art together and do a Top Cow summer special for each con? Put it in, submit your fan art for that con, and you could be in the book, and we'll sell that for $60, and then you can go and get a signature from all the artists in Artist Alley. What's wrong with that?
Not a bad idea.
Ashley, you have any thoughts on it? Like, because it just, I just don't understand. Like, I just think creativity can solve this problem versus threats. Like threats are gonna get
Yeah.
these companies nowhere.
Yeah. I'm with that. No negativity. Let's just can we please not have negativity? I mean, just there's already enough out there anyway, and people don't respond well to it anyway. Or I mean, I guess some people respond to it, but it's usually just with fear. So, I mean,
Well,
I don't want to be paranoid any more
you
than I have to.
you want to know why Top Cow stuff isn't selling at cons? Because they don't have a movie or a TV show right now.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why they don't have a cartoon, they don't have a movie, they don't have a TV show, and the last video game they made sucked. So that's their problem. They have a image problem. But aha, like so, they have a brand awareness problem. They don't have a people are drawing our characters because I I have a piece of Darkness fan art in there. You want to know what people say when they see it? Who's that? That's like their flagship character, dude. Like,
Right.
no one knows. They used to have the Tomb Raider license. They don't even have a license like that anymore. They're not producing any licenses, and licensed books have taken over the entire comic book industry in the last 10 years. Period. So like, you know, unless you're making your money off your independent books, how many people are going to buy prints of, okay, let's say my Big Dog Ink stuff doesn't really sell much as prints, right?
Hmm.
Other than as cheesecake art, pretty girl art. No one goes, oh, that's from the cover. I'll get that. So like when Tom sells prints, it's like it has to be like he has to print like 100 of them, and they're not really gonna move prints because it's like a bonus thing. It's like when I was at Play, they tried to sell keychains and shit, and I'm like, you got to give this stuff away, Dave. Like no one's gonna buy a fucking girls a gaming keychain, like like they're just not gonna do it, man. So. But I just think like these companies, like Marvel, easily could have hit like the juxtapose thing, hit up a bunch of street artists, hit internet fan artists, and create a whole thing. Like a thing that you could buy in which it's all about creating just images of art and maybe like crazy sequential stuff that would just never work in traditional printing sense, but it could be a magazine, and it could be a way to discover talent. But like all industries, the music industry and the TV industry, these companies are just acting out of fear, and they want to squash anything that looks like it's just threatening them. And it really isn't threatening them. If people are drawing your stuff, it's because it's fucking awesome,
Right.
And we live in a
It's
world where they don't have to, Go
yeah, it's
ahead.
out of it's I mean, yeah, we want to make money at Artist Alley, Comic Con, blah blah, but it's still out of admiration that we love these characters that have been around for so long that we like drawing them because for most artists, I don't know, I can't speak for everyone, but I know for us, we draw characters because we like them. You drew the Darkness because he's badass and you like him. We draw Batman a lot because we love Batman. So it's not like we're like, oh, Deadpool's going to sell this week. We better draw a lot of Deadpool. We draw characters we like for the most part and think, that it shows in our art.
Hey, imagine
But
the day comes, someone goes to con, they have the Deadpool booth. They just set up their own artist alley, like
right,
belt buckle display. They got a statue
you
back
say that,
there.
but you're usually kind of right on these things. So
Someone goes too far,
this podcast is dated, so time will tell.
They
A
dress up
couple
as they
months.
do sketches as Deadpool.
Oh, they insult you as Deadpool as they
Yeah,
sketch you as
yeah,
Deadpool.
right. Since
Ugh.
do you think, Ashley? Do you think it's a good step, like with Cartoon Network, or do you think it's not really going to make much of a difference? Do you have any opinion?
I mean, I don't. No, I don't really have an opinion. I just because I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean,
Didn't
I
you
don't know
get
if anybody knows even if it's gonna like. I don't. Does anybody know it even exists? Like the option or what they're doing.
Well,
Is it?
now they do because this podcast is so amazing. The whole internet's going to break when the news hit. I'm dropping it here on Sketchcraft.
didn't you have where they wanted to buy something of yours original stuff or do work for a company like
No,
that?
no. Oh,
No.
you mean did they? No, and I've never had it. I've had people want me to join a community on YouTube, but I didn't
Okay.
do it.
I just remember there was a time where somebody wanted you to sign a contract or do some.
Yeah, that was when they wanted me to join the community on Frederator.
Right. Okay. I mean, I guess that can be if I'm reading the whole Cartoon Network situation thing. It could kind of be like that, where you have a bigger group wanting you to join, and then you're
Yeah.
basically making art off their stuff, but also a percentage. I mean, I can see the benefit for some artists where maybe they don't get a broad spectrum of people or reach or make a lot of money, and maybe hey, this might be my chance to make a little money on the side, but I don't know how well it would turn out in the end, but I
hmm
wouldn't. I wouldn't do it.
I don't know what you just said,
Uh,
Brandon.
I don't know what I said either. I mean,
I, don't-
it's
I
not.
feel
It's not a.
dumber from having heard it, but thank you for that.
It's not a topic I'm
Hmm,
well
this
educated in
topic.
because I've never had the opportunity to be offered
hmm
anything like
hmm
that. So
Yeah, the
I
opportunity to
suck. I
explain
suck.
yourself. Awesome. So, well, thank
Mute
you,
myself.
Brandon,
I'm
for
gonna mute
confusing
myself.
me as well as a third of our audience. So, that being said, I just think this is something we should all watch, and let's just see how it goes horribly well or horribly wrong.
yeah.
And then watch all the other artists jump on. Like that's right, fan art. No, 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 that's why I stopped doing it. And then other ones go, I only do that. Screw you. Like I just like artists fighting artists. It's just ridiculous. At the end of the day, it's these companies. Like if they want to make $1 billion worth of characters, they can. What's stopping them? I mean, I don't see how fans drawing pictures of Saitama stop sales of One Punch Man manga. You know what stops sale of One Punch Man manga? Creating shitty One Punch Man stories. And if Top Cow has a problem or any other company has a problem, they should take the reins of their properties and put them in front of people. I mean, they have a very well-named company, a very well-known company, and if people aren't drawing their stuff, it's because they haven't engaged with their properties. I mean, and if they are drawing their stuff and they can't make their own money off it, I mean, I was just there when I mean, I wish, wow, it's just going. I'm getting older. Another year or two, I'm gonna be 40, and I'm gonna be like, wow, the dream of Comic Con and independent creators is like beyond gone. It's just long forgotten. Comic Con now is like my neighbors would asking me, yeah, do you know when the Supernatural panel is at Comic Con? I'm like, what the fuck is Supernatural? Like, I don't watch network television, man. Like, I don't. What
Yeah.
the
And
fuck
neither
is?
do I.
I don't care. And why is it at Comic Con? That's why I stopped going to Comic Con. Is what I told him. Go to Vegas Con. Like, so whatever. Anyways, folks, leave your comments below, questions, whatever else. We're gonna have another one of these in about 10 minutes. We'll be back on. Brandon, where can people find you on the internet?
If you want to listen to more of my stupid shit, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Lead Heavy, Lead Heavy.
And Ashley, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook as Gang Feather.
All the links are below. We'll see you there. We'll talk to you all in a minute. Bye. What the fuck is Brandon saying?